Sodom's Son, a novel. It's America in 2076, a libertarian utopia. On his 18th birthday, the insecure, introverted son of the richest family on the planet is given the latest trophy gift for parents tired of just buying islands and yachts. Here it starts. Zink thought Spartak Jones was the most beautiful boy he'd ever seen. He daydreamed about him, fascinating, fantasizing, learning all he could, but would never approach him at school. The guy 3 years younger was way above him in looks, talent, and class, the real kind, not the one determined just by money. And now he owned him. He sat across from his schoolmate on a sofa in the bedroom, enjoying his long blonde hair and soapy clean scent, then looked away. Eye contact was embarrassing. The gymnast was staring at his hands, fingers pressed white against the knees. Spartak was frightened. That made two of them. Zink had obsessed over him for years. Since he first entered the academy, he'd watched him at sporting events, his muscular body sweaty in a tank top. He even attended several music department piano recitals featuring Spartak, always sitting in the back so he wouldn't be seen. The way the boy mastered Chopin, playing with dexterity like the composer himself, he was convinced, left him misty. Masturbating about him was one thing, but to actually have real sex with him outside of a fantasy seemed preposterous. At least the boy was open about being home. Thank God, a friend overheard Spartak use the old-fashioned term gay, which was charming. More than sexual attraction, he admired the way he conducted himself. A decent guy, even when people were harsh. The life of a scholarship kid in an elite school could be demeaning. Forcing the boy to submit would be humiliating for both of them. Spartak's body was so perfect, unlike his own. Zink despised his face, and his own inexperienced fucking would be obvious. He was a virgin, for God's sake. No, it had to be real and sensual. And he would have to find a way to show appreciation to his parents and protect the boy from his brother and kids at school. Why did his parents do this? And yet, he wanted Spartak and legally could do whatever he desired with him. A thrill and a curse. The boy was a prisoner of the system. So was Zink, in what he hoped was honor. But if it were a boy other than Spartak, what would he do? Probably take what was his. After all, he was a McLean. I admire your piano playing, Zink said quietly, despite his throbbing heart, trying to keep his distance and sound casual, two friends talking after school. I've attended several recitals, you're good. Thanks. I've seen you in the audience and we appreciate your support. I knew who you were, everybody does. It really helps scholarship students like me. It tells the school people like you are supported. He smiled, looking at it. Why didn't you say something? I should have, but I was there to see friends. Thought he was afraid the boy would ignore him. You could have approached me. Impossible, Spartak insisted, shaking his head. You're older, one of the 12. I'm a charity boy, as your brother calls me. Honestly, he said, blushing, I always assumed the worst about you, but you're not like Connor. I guess I was wrong. I'm not my brother. But Spartak couldn't know that for sure, not yet. He had to prove himself. They sat in silence, both still in shock from the party. He wondered what the teenager was thinking. His own brain felt like he had just gulped an ice cone. The debt slave issue was simultaneously arousing and disgusting. He'd read about the Supreme Court decision, but never imagined the consequences. Just because he's rich doesn't mean he has the right to order the boy to his bed, but he could. He felt himself stiffen as he glanced again at Spartak's hair, adjusted his pants. Zink's family expected it. No one could blame him. The guy couldn't deny him. Kids at school would want details that might mock him if he couldn't provide any. Oh God, would people say he was too ugly to get a good-looking boy on his own and had to let his family buy him one? Should I take my clothes off now? Spartak asked. I know why I'm here. I have to go, Zink said, jumping to his feet, stumbling out of the bedroom, already tasting acid in his throat. Thank you.